Welcome back. In the previous video we finished creating and setting up the windows for the front here, so the entire house now has windows set up for it. Now what we're going to do is go back to the first floor and we're going to finish off the hallway here. Let me do something. I'm going to open up my concept images again just to show you something. So let's go to the rendering menu, go to view image file and load up the concept images from before. Edit to remember that we're editing this out of the video. Okay, start again in 3, 2, 1. So here I am in my concept image, and if I zoom in here a little bit, you can see that I have this sort of archway here for the hallway, right here next to the staircase. See that? What I have to do is I need to create that right now inside of 3ds Max. So let me go ahead and let me close that, and that archway is going to be right here. Okay, so this is the geometry we have now to work with. We're going to build the archway off of this geometry here, and I'm going to show you a nice technique for doing that quickly and easily. Okay, so let me go to polygon mode, and I'm going to select the polygon back there in the back of that hall. I'm also going to select the polygon that's behind that door and the polygon behind that door right there. Okay, and the reason I'm doing that is that when I go to modify selection and I grow my selection, it selects all those polygons there in the hallway. I'm also going to go ahead and select these polygons that are out here, and that's it. I'll go to visibility and I'll tell 3ds Max to hide unselected polygons. So everything besides what I had selected will be hidden, at least polygon wise. Another thing I have to do is, let me go to the quad menu and go to unhide by name. I want to unhide my front view. I'm going to need that front view because the front view shows me the arch right there in the hallway, the little one, and there's also the big one, but we'll get to the big one in a while. Right now we're going to do this little one first. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to see-through mode. I'm going to go to edge mode here. I'm going to select this edge, as well as this one down there, this one down there, and this one up here. Okay? And then I'm going to go to the quad menu and go to the connect options. I'm going to connect this with one segment and give this 0 for the pinch and slide. Or actually, let me go ahead and slide this. I need to bring it closer over here. I'll hit OK. Now you can see that it's slanted. It's not a perfectly straight edge loop right there in that hallway. So let's go ahead and use the align tools. I turn on the gizmo here to move gizmo. I can see that in order to flatten this out, I need to align it, preferably in the y-axis right here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll go up here to the graphite modeling tools and I'll go to the align menu. And from here, I can align this in a multitude of ways. But the main ways right here is the X, Y, and Z. I want to go ahead and align this in the y-axis. So I'll select Y, and you can see that it immediately was pretty much flattened in the y-axis. So now it's a perfect straight edge loop. Okay? And now I have to decide where I'm going to move this. Okay, if I look at my floor blueprint here, I can see that the floor blueprint goes here, and then there's this sort of little notch right there. That notch actually represents the little archway. Okay? So what I can do is select the blueprint, hit 2 on the keyboard to go to the segment mode. If I go over here, I can see that I can select the segment. And I'll select that segment or that edge, and I can use the transform typing tool to see the y-axis there. And you can see that its coordinate in the y is about 4 inches. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the mesh here, to the polygon object. I'm going to go back to that edge loop, and I'm going to take the entire edge loop there, and I'm going to move it in the y-axis to 4 inches. So I'll select 4, and there we go. And you can see it's matching up with the blueprint perfectly. Okay, let me close the transform type in for now. Now, next thing I need to do is I need to extrude the polygons. Now that I have this polygon right there and this polygon, I can extrude them out to the distance that's equal to this right here. Okay. I'm also going to extrude the one on the top up there. I'm going to need to do that because I need that geometry for the top of the archway. Okay, so now with those polygons selected, I'll go to the quad menu and I'll go to the extrude options. And in extrude polygon options here, by default it's trying to go to 8 inches. And we have 3 different extrusion types. We can extrude by group, as you can see, but that's not going to work out too well because it's moving all the polygons downward about 8 inches as a group, which I don't like. I can also extrude by the local normal. Well, basically what that does is it looks at the local coordinates of the polygons here and the subcomponents, and it's going to try to move them on the local axis. Sometimes that can be a good thing. In this case, you can see that it's not. It created this sort of slanted look to my geometry there, which doesn't look too good. I mean, maybe if this was Beetlejuice's house, it'd look good, but in our case, it doesn't. So the last option is by polygon, and this one looks really good. It keeps everything straight. Everything moves based on the orientation of the polygon. Okay, so I'm going to keep this extrusion type right here. Now for the extrusion height, if I zoom in here, I can see where the blueprint ends right there. My extrusion is too much. 8 inches is too much. Let me try half that. Let me try 4 inches, and 4 inches is going to work out just nicely. So I'll hit OK. There we go. That's done. Now by extruding that, I did create some polygons underneath here. These 2 polygons, which I don't need. I don't want them there, so I'll just hit delete to get rid of them. Then at the top, you can see we have ourselves a strange piece of geometry here. That's not good. We need to fix that. So let's go to edge mode. Let's select this edge right there and this edge right there. And we need to move those 2 edges. See that? Those are the edges that belong to these polygons that we just extruded. But we also have this polygon that we also extruded at the same time. And you can see that its edges are inside the geometry there, which is no good. So if the entire polygon selected, I'll use the scale tool and scale this in on the x-axis, just like that. And it doesn't matter how far you scale it in, because it's not really going to make a difference, and you're going to see why in a moment. Okay. Now if I get out of see-through mode, I can see that I have a polygon here, 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 and here. Those 4 polygons are completely useless, and I actually want to get rid of them. So I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard to get rid of them. And the reason I got rid of them is so that I can go in edge mode now. I can go to the quad menu and activate target weld. And now I can target weld the top edge to the bottom edge on the right side. Then go to the left side and seal up the top to bottom right there. So now I end up basically with this nice closed, clean topology. Okay. Now to be able to create the archway, what I'm going to have to do is create or connect these 2 edges, this one and this one right here, in order to be able to have a nice archway. And I'll show you that right now. Let's go to connect. Let's go to the options. Make sure you only use 1 segment. And take the slide and put that to 0 and hit OK. Alright? So now we have that 1 edge in here in the middle. So what can we do with that 1 edge? Well, we can move it up or down. I want to move it up. And you can see as I move it up, it automatically creates a very primitive, basic arch shape. But of course, this doesn't look too good because it doesn't look nice and round like in the concept image. And if I look at my blueprint in the background over there, you can see that we have an arch right there, and that's basically the shape that we want to imitate. Okay, so let's take this edge pretty high, something like this. Is going to be probably pretty good. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit F on the keyboard to go to the front view, and I'm going to hit F3 to go to wireframe mode. And you can see I still have my edge selected, and there's the archway in the background. Perfect. See that? That's what we're going to try to imitate right now. So let's go ahead. Let me check something here. Let me go back to perspective view. This edge right here and this edge, turns out I accidentally placed them perfectly according to the blueprint. If we go back to the blueprint, go to wireframe, you can see that they're placed perfectly right there according to the blueprint. That's a very freaky coincidence there. But let me go to the transform typing tool because I want to make sure this is exact and is using clean numbers. The z-axis, so it looks like 7 feet is what we want to go with right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure it's 7 feet 0 inches, so it's a nice clean number. No crazy decimals. Okay, let's go back to this edge right here. Let's go back to the front view, go to wireframe. Alright, and now what we're going to do is let's open up the quad menu and we're going to use the Chamfer Tool. Let's go to the options for the Chamfer Tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the chamfer amount and increase the amount of segments. And if we go to the perspective view and we get out of wireframe view, we can see what we're doing. Now you can see it, the polygon up here on the top on both sides is kind of messed up. That's a triangulation error. If you remember, that's very easy to fix. All we have to do is select the polygon and go to retriangulate. But we're not going to do that right now. Let's finish chamfering the edges first and then we'll do that. Let's increase the amount of segments and then the chamfer amount. Let's use about 12 segments. That's going to look nice and smooth. The more segments we use, you can see the more geometry is placed, the more edges, which makes it look smoother and smoother and smoother. 12 is going to be good enough. Let me go back to the front view so that I can look at my arch. There's the yellow arch, which represents the blueprint. So if I adjust the chamfer amount, I can actually control the angle of that arch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball it and use the spinner here in the chamfer edges options to get that just about right. And that looks really good. That's perfect. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go back to perspective view, get out of wireframe view with F3. I'm going to go to polygon mode and select these polygons which were triangulated incorrectly by 3ds Max. And I'm going to go to the triangulation menu in the graphite modeling tools and hit retriangulate. And that fixes it up perfectly. I'll hit Control D to deselect all of those polygons. And you can see we have a perfect archway, just like the concept image. Excellent. Now, while we're still in polygon mode, let's go to the visibility options here and let's hit unhide all to bring back all of our polygons. Perfect, there we go. So let's look at that archway from inside the hall. A little bit difficult to do. So let's do this. Let's just turn on see-through mode. And there's that archway right up here. It looks really nice. The 12 segments makes it look beautiful, nice, and smooth. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing to do is we need to create an archway for the other side. But we'll see that in the next video. I'm going to end this one here, and we'll pick up where I left off in the next one.